I want to go back to what is really the big story of the day. The U.S. paid $400 million in ransom to Iran for the release of 4 American captives. Walid Phares is with us. He's Fox News terrorism analyst and foreign policy advisor for Donald Trump. Now, you know the story, Walid, and so do our viewers by now. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, this is other evidence that the Iran deal, the so-called Iran deal, did not have effects on the behavior, on the strategic intentions of the regime. The mere idea that the regime, after having signed such an agreement or agreed on such an agreement, still have hostages and people detained by us after being paid billions of dollars. And of course, the way the administration is behaving with that regime by paying ransom money is also another evidence that this whole issue is very wrong.
Well, we paid $400 million for the release of 4 Americans. That's $100 million apiece. Is that now the going price for a hostage? How to get them out of Iran? $100 million apiece? Is that it?
That's very bad, and I'll tell you why. Because that does not stop the future. It does not stop pro-Iranian militias or anybody that is close to the regime in the region, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, other places around the world, to do the same, to capture Americans, and then we have to pay $100 million. And there are other nationals also captured in Iran or detained in Iran. So this is not good.
No, it is not. Thank you, Walid. Now, I want to move on to something we had on the show yesterday. Donald Trump, he was on the show. We asked him about his possible plan to monitor mosques in the United States if he's elected president. Roll that tape. So they have closed down 20 mosques because they were associated with radical Islam. Would you do something similar in America?
Well, you see what's happening in France. They have no choice, and I've been saying we have to be very vigilant, and part of the vigilance is looking at the mosques.
All right. You are his foreign policy advisor, Walid. He's saying we have to be very vigilant of the mosques. I'm reading between the lines. That's really stepped-up surveillance, isn't it?
Look, let me shed some light on this issue. The issue is not the building of the mosque. The issue is not the theology, what has been discussed. The issue really is about the jihadists penetrating these mosques, either by individuals or even the clerics. Look what the French have done. They stopped any foreign funding for mosques. But go beyond the Mediterranean into Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Lebanon, UAE. They actually are concerned about what's happening inside the mosque. I mean, these are the Muslim, mostly Sunni countries. So for us to look at the radicalization within the mosque is a minimum. Is a minimum at least.
You know, with all these daily events on the terror front, surely that is prime material for Donald Trump to exploit in the campaign. Can you have a word with Mr. Trump and tell him not to go off on tangents and, you know, stick to the message? Can you tell him that, please, Walid Phares?
Look, what I can do, I cannot advise on TV here, but what I can do, and I'm doing basically with my colleagues, is providing the best advice with regard to those national security issues, these foreign policy issues. And if you read carefully, and I'm sure you did, his foreign policy speeches, this is where you see the actual core of what would be his policy when he is elected.
You know what the problem is, Walid? The very hostile media, which picks on totally extraneous subjects rather than getting to the nitty-gritty of what Donald Trump is actually saying. You've got the media against you, full force.
Absolutely, it was expected, it was projected, and now after the convention, this is what's happening. But here's the limitation of the media. The media has gathered all the people who are going to vote in the other direction. They're not gaining more. What they're doing is just trying to trash Mr. Trump and his campaign. But they forgot one thing, that the new media, the social media, is going in different directions. The undercurrents are going in different directions. They are not being influenced by what the media is saying, and the numbers will show.
That's very interesting. Walid Phares, as always, thanks for joining us, sir. Appreciate it.